Are you scared of complex concepts such as flipping items? Do you long for the simple days of power mining iron ore outside of Varrock? Then boy do I have a build for you. What's up Swits, I'm Old Salty Sean aka Dalron Telvanni, and today is something rare. We're looking at a build. Ever since I did that Maelstrom video, people keep asking me if I would do build videos despite my protests that I am a stupid man. But what I can do is showcase some of the builds that others have clued me into. And we'll start with one of my favorite pocket characters to have on my entire account. This is Lucky, named after my friend's cat because I'm just as funny and original as literally every other Khajiit player. Lucky is a gatherer build, meaning he skates fast and eats ass. Gatherer builds are nothing new to ESO. In fact, I'll actually be linking Alcast's guide in the description if you want to see the exact item sets and champion points written out. But this build is useful for other things outside of gathering, as we'll get into later in the guide. So what does this build do? Well, it's all about sneak speed. With this build, we move at the game's movement speed cap even when sneaking. Sneaking has no penalty, holding sprint does nothing, we are speed. This means we never need to waste time mounting and unmounting. More importantly, this means that we can yoink nodes away from less cultured players we catch unmounting. By now, I'm sure you're all asking, Sean, if you're such a red-blooded Dunmer enthusiast, why on Nern would you make a Khajiit? Even a Telvanni Magister can see the value in the Feline Ambush passive, reducing our detection radius with each rank. The Cut Purse passive is also a definitive boon to our extracurricular activities with this character. Next, we'll be making our Khajiit a Nightblade for a few quality of life skills. Now that you've made your character, inquire in any of your guilds about a potential vampire bite, or you can always ask zone chat in areas with vampire shrines. Whatever you do, do not buy your vampire bite from the Crown store. Now that you're Ninja Cat Dracula, head to the nearest guild hub and grab the Steed Mundus Stone. This will increase your speed tremendously, and we'll be supplementing it further with divines on every single piece of gear we can slot it on. Moving on to gear, you'll first want to pick up the Ring of the Wild Hunt. You'll need Greymore for this bad boy, but it's the key to making our entire build work as its movement speed buff is unparalleled. For 5 pieces, we rock first and foremost Vesture of Darlock Bray. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. This is an overland set from Northern Elsewhere. The set simultaneously makes us harder to detect, as well as regenerating our resources while crouching, which we're going to be permanently crouched on this character forever. For our other 5 piece, we're going to be using the Jailbreaker set from Banished Cells, granting us a permanent 15% movement speed buff. We'll want all these sets in Divines to further buff our movement speed from the Steed. We're nearly at the movement speed cap of 200%, but let's go ahead and add in the Dark Stalker passive from being a vampire.
I'm not afraid of you, Dracula. Come out and face the music. Come out and make yourself known.
This is what makes the build so quick. We're no longer penalized for sneaking, so now we never have any reason to leave stealth. This means that we're always regenerating resources back from Darlock Bray and going to be largely ignored by mob packs. Next, we're going to slot in Concealed Weapon entirely for its bar filler ability to get us to the movement speed cap. From here, we can really slot in whatever we want for the rest of our bar, assuming that it works for a normal stamina build. This character is never going to be in any kind of combat, and if they are, it's overland content, so they'll be fine. Next, we've got to grab our crafting passives. For those who might not know, your overland crafting nodes are based on a combination of your player level and crafting skills. The idea is that you will always find mats for your current crafting level, so leveling these up ensures that we will only find top quality mats in the world. Lastly, if you're okay selling apples all day in Craglorn, you can pick up the Light Fingers and Locksmith for our extracurricular activities, but this is by no means required. For attributes, we're going to be dumping everything into stamina. Lastly, we'll be delving into our champion point spread. This is a very rare instance where the craft tree is going to be our biggest focus. The big 3 that we need are Plentiful Harvest, Master Gatherer, and Treasure Hunter. These give us double drops from resource nodes, decrease the time we spend harvesting, and increase chest loot quality respectively. For the remainder of our champion points, we can build into a traditional stamina damage dealer build. Again, these aren't as important as we'll rarely be in combat, but if you want to build for it just in case, reference one of the guides I'll link in the description below. Now that we're an invisible blur of speed and raw gathering efficiency, we've got to decide where we want to farm our mats. If you're looking for very safe mat gathering, look no further than Balfoyen. This newbie zone is practically mob free, and its small size and density means that mats are everywhere. However, it is generally very crowded, so while we have a huge edge over most of our competition here with our speed, it's worth considering another zone. With how sneaky this build is, Craglorn tends to be my favorite spot to farm, as we can very easily shadow disguise ourselves through large mob packs and take advantage of the zone-only Nirncrux gathering. If you ever find yourself aggroed by a mob pack while harvesting, simply shadow disguise as you run away repeatedly. We can regenerate our resources so quickly that we'll be able to slink away scot-free every time. Lastly, you'll want to take advantage of an add-on that's called Harvest Map, if you're on PC. This add-on will document every node you find in a region, and it also works for treasure chests and thieves' troves, so keep an eye out when using it to make your rotations more rewarding. And that is it, my worker bees. You are all set to get out there and start gathering nodes faster than a bald bot on RuneScape. Is it fun? No. Is it worth doing? Maybe if you're new. Look, if you wanted real money making strats, Arttea is probably right there in the recommended. You come to me if you want to learn the way of the rat. That said, I think investing time in this character is a good use for a couple of reasons. First of all, whenever there are double resource drops, this character is a license to print money, and yes, it does stack with the champion point passive. Secondly, I think this character is my secret weapon to avoiding some of the headaches with events. If you're anything like me, you probably detest doing the Thieves Guild heist and Dark Brotherhood sacraments. Well, I feel like it goes without saying that a character with maximum movement speed that is basically invisible can do these missions very effectively. Does that mean that you should do these missions daily? Fuck no. However, Thieves Guild and Dark Brotherhood events are very much a thing, and heists and sacraments are very likely going to be on the event ticket menu when they do come back. So consider killing two birds with one stone and make these Metal Gear missions that much easier when the event time does kick around. This character is also great at pickpocketing, both because of all of its pickpocketing bonuses, as well as being nearly invisible if you do get caught. He's a perfect build for people who like to do Morrowind pickpocket farming or unlocking those Thieves Guild vendoring achievements. Lastly, the real reason I keep this character on the bench is when it's the end of the night and my mind is fried from work and I just want to chill in a Discord call and watch my friends play stuff so I don't miss out on moments like this.
Gets a call on the codec. Snake, stay away from the muscle mommies.
Muscle mommies.
Muscle mummies.
That's Otacon.
Snake, stay away from the muscle mommies.
I know a thing or two about muscle mommies.
I was once in a fight with a muscle mummy back in '89.
Back 89. This character to me highlights what ESO does so well. There's so many crazy armor sets out there with so many odd buffs, and you can literally just build a character that's fast and sneaky and good at nothing else, and I love that. But that about wraps it up. If you're looking to expand your gathering knowledge further, check out Arttea's great guides on what zones are worth harvesting in. If you watched this far into the video, consider giving a like and a subscribe. The channel is still very small and growing, and it really does help me out. One last piece of housekeeping, we just launched channel membership here, and I commissioned my amazing friend Emma, who made the infamous Dalron Pogface, to make some more channel emotes. She did a fantastic job recoloring and re-inking several of my favorite characters as Dunmer for our channel membership icons and emotes, so if you really want to support the channel that extra step, consider signing up today. And in fact, there's already 2 people to thank for joining. Meridius Bacon and Oro are our first official members, and they both signed up at the House Magister rank. Thank you both so much for supporting the channel, and welcome to House Telvanni. But until we meet again on the plains of Vardenfell, I've been Old Salty Sean saying smoke skooma and worship Daedra.
Stand up. There you go. You were dreaming.